way they can find the information or to help move you along, or to learn that skill set just because they're interested in it. So we don't discredit somebody who maybe isn't yet fully an expert in that field professionally.
Yeah, they're willing to do the work. Why not? Give them a try. And also we have something that we call a community member. It's somebody that maybe wants to be on the board, but they're not sure. They don't have a vote. But they can come to meetings, they sign the confidentiality agreement and the conflict of interest agreement, but they're just sort of trying it out. So you can have that category if you want.
We do that for 3 months before a board member's like actually a board member, and that's been helpful for us to know if it's a good fit on both sides versus going through all the process of them officially being board members only to find out that it doesn't work.
Yeah, and life happens. People's parents get sick. Their job changes. Things happen. You gotta allow people some space to be themselves. And I always say family first. Right? You gotta let people make their family top priority. Committees, other boards they serve on, their availability, and how, in their mind, what are they thinking they'd like to do as a board member? Just ask those questions and then keep track. And what we like to do is have a conversation, have coffee, have lunch, talk it through. I've had one person who didn't want to support our organization because we have a Center for LGBTQ Philanthropy. And that wasn't within their belief system. And so they declined. But I'm always upfront about, we have a Black philanthropy group, we have an Asian philanthropy group. If it doesn't fit their beliefs, then they wouldn't want to be on our board. It wouldn't work. Provide some materials, have a packet when you are thinking about having them join your board. I have a sample job description here. So, you can plagiarize any of the stuff that's in the public domain. Provide a list of who else is on your board. If it's a friend of theirs, that might help, or if it's someone they don't get along with, they might decline. But that's important. And doing things up front, like your code of ethics, this is what we expect. Your meeting schedule. I got asked to be on a board and they met on Wednesday mornings, and I have standing meetings on Wednesday morning. Like, I like to do it, but I just can't. You don't want to ask the other board members to switch the day. So you need to know they can make the meetings. And the budget. I've had people who think that the budget is 10 times what it really is. So you can be upfront, and you can provide a summary. You don't have to give all the details. And if you have a strategic plan, say, this is where we're going. You want to be part of this. And they might find something that really sparks their interest or they feel strongly about. So, I think giving you a hard time.
So, you're saying every Wednesday?
No, but it's that yeah.
That's, do you have to have them, how often should you have one? Or,
Depends on the organization. Your bylaws will usually say how many meetings a year you have. Quarterly would be the minimum, I would think. Some I know of, pardon me? It depends. Are you a member? You're a church, you're a membership organization, so probably the church members can come, right? Whenever people fill out the articles of incorporation, I always encourage them to say they're not a membership organization, because when you're a membership organization and you have your annual meeting, you have public publishing requirements where you gotta make the public aware that you're having a membership meeting, so anybody who's a member can come to your annual meeting. What's a member? The $10 dues. You have to come, how do you define a member? Who can vote, who can't vote? If you're not a membership organization, you're much more flexible. You know, you can do it however you want. If you say membership, then you have to define what is a member, and then they have to be included in the annual meeting and they have a vote on certain things. So, but for a church, you know, you could have, if it's a personnel matter, or something that needs to be private, like the purchase of some, you know, I don't know.
Well, a lot of that is, I find a little bit of conflict, but I know churches all over this, so, because they mess up the board, and then they have their. So we're gonna deal with you, with the board, you know.
Yes, maybe you have one representative of the deacon that comes once a quarter, and one member of the elders that, I don't, you know, I'm not sure how it's
Right.
structured, but they could be, come and give a report or provide a written report, but your minutes are public, so
So for the government meeting, it's,
churches are an exception under IRS rules, so you don't even have to file a 990.
right.
Yeah, yeah, you don't, which bothers me because I would like to know more about philanthropy. Who's giving, you know, because there's a study that's done every year, it's called Giving USA. And it includes how many dollars people are giving, are they giving to education, are they giving to the environment, you know, those kind, how they giving to health. And since churches don't have to file, we don't know if your church has a food bank and you're providing food. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of services we don't know about, and this is my personal thing. I wish they would, because they run so many community programs like daycares, and it would just be nice to know what's out there, but
Well, anymore, the IRS really doesn't cover what you get.
right.
So a lot of the congregations. They just get rid of it. We're not gonna do anything from the IRS anyway.
Well, the standard deduction is so high now. Yeah, unless you're giving more than 13,000 as an individual, you can't itemize anyway. So you're not bound by some of the legal stuff, but it would be helpful to new church board members if they knew what they were getting into, right?
Right.
So a job description would be helpful. To know what the church's budget is would be helpful, and if you have a
Yes.
planning document, those things are just best practices. You don't have to do any of it, but we're avoiding problems, we're reading the standard. The better job nonprofits do, the more money we're all gonna be able to collect, because people are gonna feel good about nonprofits. If anybody's ever been burned by a nonprofit, they never got a thank you, they never got a receipt, or they found out they gave money and somebody took all the things they bought home, you know, they used it for personal use. You know, it affects all the nonprofits because it gives everybody a bad name. So, you know, rising tide raises all ships, right? So if we set the standards high, we help each other as well as our own organization. Okay, I have 10 basic responsibilities. I don't know where to put these, Chris. 10 basic responsibilities of a board. Sure. I love this one. It's a board self-evaluation questionnaire. This, if you board members come to meetings prepared, strongly agree or strongly disagree. This one is key questions to ask before you join a board. You want to be sure you can answer these questions for prospective board members. Here's a sample board ethics. Got one of these for all of you. And then I have a sample job description for a board member. Pass these out. Description for a board member. Pass these out. And then this one is from Board Source, which you have to pay for, but this says things like, what information should we collect from present and potential board members? How can we contribute to effective board organizations? I mean, there's just lots of good stuff in here. So there's copies of this as well, but they're not.
They're really great resources.
Yeah, you're welcome. I collated them all. Sorry.
Do I have everything? Is there 4 minutes?
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
They're coming.
Oh, they're all, that's all the resources.
Yep, all of those are what I'm handing out to you. Okay. As well as your slides. General stuff that I think is really helpful, and then you can make copies and hand them out if you want to.
If there's enough copies, maybe one for Mike.
Oh, there is. I made 12 of everything. So I figured somebody might want to be passed around. So we have, what, 15 minutes? For more questions, discussion, networking, whatever you all would like to do. So Colleen, please, if I left anything off or we can think of other things, please chime in.
Any burning questions, confusions, concerns, comments? Anything?
How do you feel about donors being on the board?
Oh, that's a tough one. Depends on the donor. Sometimes they're on the board because they want control. And if they're a big donor, it's kind of hard to say no, isn't it? So you want the money and you want them to make another gift. Having these, matrix that you fill out and balancing it by geography or types of skills, it gives you a tool that you can use to politely tell someone, no, thank you. Like, we have, 2 or 3 board members in our group that are from Sierra Vista. So we can say, well, we already have plenty of representation from Sierra Vista. We are looking to expand our geography with folks, from Douglas or Wilcox. It sort of gives you, have them fill out the form and say, well, we're balancing the skill set and the geography and whatever else you feel is important. Do they know anything about art, right? And if I give you money, but I don't know anything about art, you can say, well, our board matrix requires, that you have some knowledge or expertise in art, or, it gives you an out. Maybe you want the person on your board. There are plenty of people who'll say, I'll give you money, and you do whatever you want with it. But then there are others who say, well, I'm going to give you money, but I'm going to tell you what to do with it. And that is a major problem because the IRS doesn't consider a gift complete until the donor relinquishes control, right? Otherwise, it's not a gift, is it? They have control over how it's spent.
Oh.
When that money goes to a nonprofit, it belongs to the nonprofit. And their decision-making setup is how it determines that it gets spent.
So the
Right.
wheels start turning in my head because reservations are really good about giving money to nonprofits, but they want to see it down in a specific area sometimes.
Then maybe you need to say no.
Right.
It's not something
But
you
that's
do.
what I've noticed, like just in others that I've seen. It's like, oh, boards and I see things are down there, right? So I've noticed that and there's nothing wrong with, I guess, the way they want to do it in a sense of what they want, but I have noticed that. A few of them.
We have grant reviewers that will, because we have people from the community that review our grant applications. Colleen and I don't make decisions on our grants. And they'll say, well, we can give them the money if they change this or change that. Our standard is no. take their mission is their mission, their programs are their programs. You either support funding it or you don't.
And that goes back to what you were saying about trust, because they're, the nonprofits are the experts. If you wanna be seen in your community, like, if you all are operating ethically and building trust with your donors, they're gonna trust you, and I've seen organizations get in trouble by constantly trying to restrict because the way they're asking for funds is, so specific, but you want them to trust you and to get those unrestricted operating dollars so that you're being nimble in your programming and how you respond to community needs. If you need blankets, you need food, well, maybe you don't need blankets next month, maybe you need something else. You want to be able to have that flexibility in your funding. So grants are usually a little bit more restricted. It's rare to get completely unrestricted, although I think kind of moving in that direction. So building those relationships with donors is so important to have that.
Yeah, and I was
support unrestricted funds.
unrestricted, and it's more about why you do what you do, not what you do. When we gave away, so many pounds of corn or clothing or whatever it was, but why are you doing it? You're trying to improve people's quality of life. You're trying to help kids be successful in school. There's a lot of reasons that you do it, but as a donor, I want to know why, because I have tons of choices on where I can make donations. What is it about your organization, how it changes people's lives that I'm going to get on board with, especially with bigger gifts. And we have a fundraising workshop. Big decisions like buying a car, when a lot of money's involved, it's made with the limbic part of our brain. That's why they always have sexy girls selling cars and handsome guys, driving real fast. I'd like to date, that's why if I have this car, then maybe I'll get this pretty girl if I have this car. It's made with the limbic part of your brain. And the more money people are giving you, you have to touch their heart and soul with why you're doing what you're doing, how it changes people's lives. So it's a way of wording it, as Pauline said. Also, when you have, fundraising events, you have to be careful how you word things. If you say all proceeds are going to children's program, you're not saying net proceeds, you're saying all proceeds. So you want to make sure your language is accurate. You can say net proceeds are going to the children's program and associated expenses. Because you don't really know, like if there's bad weather, it might change what you had to spend to put on the events. You don't want to be too specific as
I call it one thing, and it's term limits. I don't know if anybody has term limits, which is hard in some communities, because it might be hard to build your board. And so it's kind of finding this balance of term limits. Works for organizations, and I kid you not, the board members have been there 15 to 20 years, which in some ways was really helpful and great because they had a ton of institutional knowledge, but it also stifled growth and opportunity and new mindset perspective. And so,
yeah, I agree with that. Have you heard of founder syndrome? When someone volunteers and they start an organization and then they sit on the board, they feel like it's theirs. And that can happen with staff too. You don't ever want your organization to be associated with one person, so that if they left, all the support would fall away. It's got to be about the mission and the vision. And you can't either allow yourself to have self-control or be too much to face. So when you're recruiting board members, make sure that you're not just looking to puff themselves up or make themselves feel important. It really is a service. Go ahead, Ray.
When do you start bringing in other employees that, the same organization employees there that are very seasoned in their positions? When do you start bringing those others start hiring? If you've already implemented it, ask start putting in and then break it up a little bit, break it up a little bit. I mean,
Cross-training is always good. We've seen that, like during COVID, or other emergencies, when they had the fires and the floods here. Boy, it'd be great if people knew how to do 2 or 3 jobs, right? Because if somebody was flooded out, they're not coming to work. So cross-training is always good, so that if someone, like our treasurer of Rotary had a stroke. Nobody predicted that. He was a bicyclist. He was riding 100 miles, races and stuff. And boom, he had a stroke and he was gone. So if we had cross-trained someone ahead of time, then when they go on vacation, or retire or whatever else, if their spouse gets a different job, you're moved away, then you're covered. And I would couch it like that. It's illegal to push somebody to retire. If you think they should, that's age.
I mean, like, we need to start bringing in more, because for me, my board is looking at them, and I really would like to bring in another 5 folks, so they're able to start cross-training and learning the systems of what we do. I'm here, but I want to make sure that we bring on more, so there's more that's learned with new stuff. I don't know how to say it, but.
Just a quick pause, so I'm sorry to interrupt, but I know that some folks gotta leave, so, we'll do an official wrap here and then do a little bit of after hours, if you're okay with that, just to answer any final questions, but let's all give a huge round of applause and thank you to Angie. Thank you so much. Are you up for coming back another time to talk about fundraising? So show of hands, interest in going into a fundraising thing next, yeah? Okay, all right, nice. Well, yeah, thank you all for making the trip, no matter where you came from. And, yeah, we'll look forward to the next one. We'll find a good time for that. And you guys got to run. For those of you that do, drive safe, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you.
Yeah.
Schools out.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes.
Reach out anytime. Yeah, that's why we're here. Yeah.
You look all cozy.
You too. Me too. Good. Yeah, drive safe. I think the sun is out now, so maybe.
Hey,
Nice to meet you. Your
I'm the-
face is
I'm the
familiar.
executive director for the.
Awesome.
We have maybe seen you around the rural policy.
Yeah,
Forum
when you
we
guys- yeah,
popped
when
in.
you
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Cool
How's
guy.
it going? Good?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, this was really awesome,
See you,
super
hopefully,
informative.
so maybe again, it's always so nice.
Yeah, I wish we had more time to hang out. We
Yeah.
have to get out of school.
Oh,
And so we have to go.
yep. I get it.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
Have a good
Yeah.
day.
Thank you.
You know about.
Yeah, we went in there with whatever we had, training, brought water, brought ice. We got the trailer full, they sure till nope, can't go in. Can't go, we gotta do something.
I just want to make sure I relate it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, that was great.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're here.
Someone messaged me saying, I was watching the live stream.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Can I go?
Yes.
I was hoping Nick could come.
Oh yeah, he's a busy bee right now, huh?
He is.